Good morning, good morning. It is January 31st, 2019. Yes, it is 5:09 in the morning. We are getting a good start today. It's cold out. Let me just say that. Let me just get that out of the way. It's cold out. And our first story kind of illustrates on a larger scale what some of my morning was like. This is from Reuters. We don't often report from Reuters anymore, but in this case, it's appropriate because our weather software is stuck on -3, and that might be actually correct. But every time I try and update it, I get a message that says, "Oh, there's a network error." So now that we've started the broadcast, I can restart it and see if I can connect and get a current temperature. But -3 seems great as far as I'm concerned. All right, so what does Reuters have to do with this? GM halts operations at 11 Michigan plants after utilities urgent appeal. And this is via Washington and Reuters, but it's talking about Michigan. General Motors said late on Wednesday it would temporarily suspend operations at 11 Michigan plants and its Warren Tech Center after, and for those of you who don't live in Michigan, Warren Tech Center is like not, it's not a shop. It's not a manufacturing plant. It's this very fancy development facility. So it's more like offices, than machines and stuff. So Warren Tech Center, after a utility made an emergency appeal to users to conserve natural gas during extreme cold weather. But they're not showing us the tech center. They're showing us Lake. I know it looks like it says Orion, but it's the Lake Orion plant. Okay, so it's a big thing to those people to get the pronunciation of their little city correct. I know, just let it go, people. It's not worth it. Okay. Fiat Chrysler automobiles in Nevada also said it had canceled a shift on Thursday at both its Warren Truck and Sterling Heights assembly plants. GM said that it had been asked by Consumers Energy, a unit of CMS Energy Corp, to suspend operations to allow the utility to manage supply issues after extreme cold temperatures and fire at a compressor station. It said workers were told not to report for shifts at its Lake Orion. Just let it go, folks. Lake Orion Assembly Plant, Flint Assembly, Lansing Delta Township Assembly, and Lansing Grand River Assembly plants, as well as other stamping and transmission plants on Wednesday evening and early Thursday. GM said it would it was still assessing when employees could return to work, and so on. Now, why would I even bring this story to you? Well, it's been a morning. I got up. I had some things that, I wanted to accomplish today. And the first thing I saw was a raccoon staring at me from my living room. No, not a real raccoon, but my reaction was pretty much the same, because Pirate Media has a pile of photos sitting on my computer waiting for instructions on what to do about them. And so they get, sort of swept into the screensaver mix. And so I started out my day with basically a raccoon staring me in the face. And then I got this, when I looked at my phone, I got this notice: please turn down your heat to below 65 degrees. And I thought to myself, well, that's very funny, consumers. My heat has been set between 60 and 62 now for days. And if I'm recording, it's set to 59 or below, so that the ambient temperature will not trigger the thermometer, or the thermostat, to turn the air conditioning on, which then interferes with the audio in the broadcast. I've spent 6 minutes blathering about Michigan. Let's move on. Okay, Senator Graham, and this is from the Senate, and this is a press blurb dated yesterday, entitled "Graham FBI Needs to Brief Committee on Roger Stone Arrest." Americans are tired of the media circus surrounding the Mueller investigation. I could not agree more. Washington, Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Lindsey Graham today sent a letter to Director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI Christopher Wray, regarding the Bureau's arrest of Roger Stone. Quote, "Since his appointment, I have supported Special Counsel Mueller's ability to conduct his investigations without interference. Moreover, I have always been a strong admirer and supporter of the FBI. However, while I firmly support law enforcement taking into account threats to officer safety, flight risks, and the need to ensure evidence is preserved, I am leery that a subject of the special counsel's investigation, who has retained counsel and publicly stated he believed that he would at some point be indicted and was apparently willing to surrender voluntarily, was arrested in a pre-dawn raid at his home," close quote, Graham wrote. He continued, "The American public has had enough of the media circus that surrounds special counsel's investigation, yet the manner of this arrest appears to have only added to the spectacle. Accordingly, I write to seek justification for the tactics used and the timing of the arrest of Mr. Stone," close quote. Full text of the letter below, January 30th, all that stuff, honorable, all that. So let's keep going. Links in the show notes. Now, this maybe is only, relevant or important, or even only people of my generation know who these people are. But another Manson family member, Leslie Van Houten, recommended for parole again. So she's everybody, all these people that were in the Manson murder group, they're not related to each other. So the word family over the years should have been dropped. Nevertheless, this murder group, all of them have come up for parole more than once. Charles Manson has finally left the building, and Leslie Van Houten attends a parole hearing in California Institution for Women in Corona, California, September 6th. And we're just now getting around to this. You know, this file photo is credited to the Associated Press. Charles Manson follower Leslie Van Houten was recommended again for parole on Wednesday after serving more than 4 decades of a life sentence for her role in the cult's grisly murders in 1969, marking newly inaugurated California Governor Gavin Newsom's first chance to decide her fate. Van Houten is 69 and has been found suitable for release twice previously by the California Board of Parole hearings. Each of those times, Governor Jerry Brown blocked her release after determining she still laid too much of the blame on Manson. Charlie Manson's follower, Lynette Squeaky Fromm, living life as a very friendly neighbor in rural New York. That's a separate story on another one of these people who went on a mass murder spree. Van Houten's fate will rest in Newsom's hands if her case withstands a 150-day review process. Since being blocked by Brown, Van Houten has taken full responsibility for the crime, which could help her achieve parole, according to her lawyer, Richard Pfeiffer. And this was Leslie Van Houten, as seen in Los Angeles lockup in 1971. Links in the show notes. Let's move on. Do I think that she should be released? At this point, I wish that Governor Newsom would leave it up to the parole board. That's their job. Just leave it up to them. There are other things that I would like Governor Newsom to concentrate on, but he's not my governor, so whatever. From Breitbart. 7 illegal aliens indicted for helping Ron Singh's accused killer avoid arrest. So, these 7 people, these 7 illegal aliens indicted, but these 6 people plus somebody who's not, we don't have a picture of apparently. 7 illegal aliens have been indicted by a grand jury for their alleged involvement in helping 32-year-old illegal alien Gustavo Perez Arriaga avoid arrest by California police after allegedly murdering 33-year-old police officer Ron Singh the day after Christmas. Yeah, so I'm glad that the police are on this, but it goes without saying, none of these people are here for a better life. In the way that we are being told they're here for a better life. They're not here to rise up from picking tomatoes to managing, tomato production in a tomato production plant. That's not why they're here. And the sooner that the majority of us realize it and stop listening to the sob sisters about the poor, oppressed minorities and how it's our, our duty as Americans, the better. Let's move on. To that end, from Breitbart again, senior official, 3 migrant caravans headed to U.S., one with 12,000. Okay, so yesterday or the day before, I was saying, what are they talking about? 3 migrant caravans. Apparently, we've restarted the count. So for 2019, in the first 31 days, we now have 3 new caravans. And I'll be referring to them as the caravans of 2019, just to keep myself from being confused. I hope that's helpful to you as well. I'm going to blow this. Well, no, I'm not. I think I can see it. So photo credit goes to Getty, and the article is written by Christina Wong. There are 3 migrant caravans headed to the United States southern border with Mexico, according to top Pentagon official John Rood. Rood testified to the House Armed Services Committee on Tuesday that one of the caravans contained over 12,000 migrants. Quote, current information shows that a caravan of over 12,000 people, there's 3 that we are tracking, that the DHS is tracking en route. One that is over 12,000 by the latest estimate, said Rood, who is under Secretary of Defense for Policy. Rood said that there are currently more than 2,300 active duty troops at the southern border, down from a high of 5,900 in November. But defense officials say several thousand more active duty troops are expected to head to the border in the coming weeks to assist the Department of Homeland Security with laying down more concertina wire and helping to monitor the border between the points of entry. At this point, I don't know what to say. It's clear, it's beyond clear to anybody above room temperature who these people are, why they're coming here, and why certain political figures and entertainment figures and so forth oppose us controlling their entry into the country. So call the White House, call your congressman, call your senator, write an email, write a letter, do what's necessary to keep the pressure, especially on the Democrats, but on everybody. We can't afford to take in these people just flowing over the borders like an overrun river. We can't. It's a medical crisis with disease. It's a financial crisis from a number of respects. And it's a humanitarian crisis for the American people in the deaths and crime that is committed by these so-called peace-loving refugees. All right. I think that's it for our news. I don't see anything else that we need to, well, let's hit my Twitter once just to make sure we're not missing anything. Yeah, of course it won't load, but hey, why should today be different than any other day? Oh, yeah, we do have one more thing, and we'll We'll look at it when we get to the desk. We do have one more thing. We have Miss Nancy weighing in on things. Boy, my signal is dragging this morning. Yeah, I don't see anything. Oh, okay. Chuck Schumer revealed Tuesday that defeated Georgia Democrat gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams will give the State of the Union response. That is the most bizarre choice. I can't imagine. Honestly, I can't imagine a more bizarre choice.
It's a housekeeping matter in the Congress of the United States so that we can honor the responsibility of the invitation we extended to the President. We can make it from the Oval Office. This requires hundreds of people working on the logistics and the security of it. Most of those people are either furloughed or victims of the shutdown, the President's shutdown. But that isn't the point. The point is security. This is a very big deal. It is a special security event. And we've never really had a State of the Union when government has been in a shutdown since the Budget Act in the 70s.
Well, apparently we're experiencing a little interference there from Madam Speaker, or maybe Madam Speaker is experiencing a little interference from being under the weather. Everything is a little confusing right now. So I thought I would bring you this fun, pretty shot right outside my window, complete with optical illusion of a second moon. And our software did update. It is minus 27 degrees. Which means that that's our wind chill factor. It's actually about minus 10. That's all we have for you today. We want to wrap this up. We want to wish you a wonderful day. Be blessed. Be warm. Take care.